that's one of the things that in my pocket for tonight was the intimidation factor. And if I could say anything, I think this is it. Every elected official that has stuck their neck out and asked something or frozen to something, you know what it happens to. And I've been under a lot of attack. I have to tell you that I'm the youngest of 5 kids. And I grew up asking questions because I was told, if you ask a question, you cannot get in trouble. However, I've asked a lot of questions and I've gotten in a lot of trouble, but that's okay because if you don't speak the truth, you're never going to find it. If you're afraid to ask the question, you might as well just close yourself in the closet and stay there. Because the most important thing to do is control, and that's why I admire you and I admire Richard, because you're not afraid to prove anything. And hopefully someday we'll get an answer from the city of Phoenix.
Hopefully one day, friends. I want to thank you so much, and I think all of the audience nationwide has followed what you've been going through. And even if it turns out, Francis, that you are, for asking a question, politically ejected, you'll be able to sleep at night and hold your head up, and that certainly will not be true of many others who work for the city of Phoenix.
Well, I've never told my soul yet, and I don't intend to do it now.
Well, my congratulations go out to you.
Mark, I have something to you and something for Richard, but I can't give it to you right now, so I'll send it to you. But I have a pin from the city of Phoenix. It happens to have a symbol of the Phoenix bird, and I thought that was very appropriate.
It certainly is, and I'll look forward to it, Francis. Thank you.
Art, did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
You may have launched an interesting new political career tonight.
Richard, is it possible for you to summarize for the audience? Everybody wants to know, and it really is important. What are your expectations for the city of Phoenix? Can you be fairly clear about it in a fairly short amount of time?
All right, there are over 1,000 people here who have sat through 4 hours of non-digested information, non-condensed. So they know exactly what you're asking. However, we should say, what I would like to do rather than myself answer the question, I would like to put on 2 other people who are part of our panel. Ken Johnson Sr., who of course you know, former NASA astronaut, member of the esteemed NASA team that got us to from the moon, current member of the Boeing family, and a 32nd degree defense, who has been regaling us with some very interesting...
What's up, JC Plays? Oogly boogly. Hey, man. What's up, brother?
And then following him, I think that Dan Davis, who is a former member of the National Security Agency, an analyst, who has been delving into the history of Phoenix, and who presented an overview connecting the Masonic origins of Phoenix with the information...
JC Plays, thank you for joining the stream.
People have been sending us information through the internet. There's been local people here in the audience presenting cards who were part of the START retrieval effort on their own. There are some archaeologists who presented some amazing new connections that literally now solidify the proposal that Phoenix is very special and a special site even before Stirling and Yuba and the others established the city over 120 years ago.
All right, Richard, we have only a couple of minutes left before the top of the hour, and there are many, many people who would like to understand your projections for an event that will occur somewhere between the 20th, I think you said, and the 26th. Can you give us some idea of what it is you expect to occur?
Okay. Up until tonight, what we did not have was the key piece of new evidence, which, as I said, advanced has just been handled. That the ancient Hohokam Indians and the previous civilizations that lived in this valley of the sun, had as their totem, as their significant symbols, the same Phoenix bird of resurrection that the ancient Egyptians used as their symbol of rebirth and new life and a new age. Something that occurred over the city on March 13th, the so-called Phoenix Light, has appeared now according to the Central Eagle Masonic 19.
What's up, John Doe?
There is
What is what? What is that?
On Mars at 19.5 degrees. On the 20th of July, 4:55 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, all over the inner solar system, an extraordinary phoenix-like pattern, this tetrahedral pattern of key stars involving vast mythologies, will occur over the horizon of Tranquility on the Moon, of Sidonia on Mars, of the Pathfinder site at 19.5 on Mars, over the Giza Plateau, and over the city of Phoenix itself. To quote from a movie, 2010, when the astronaut appears to the head of NASA in the spaceship orbiting Jupiter and says something wonderful will happen.
Yes.
It is our projection that something is going to happen here between the 20th and the 26th. Whether it will be wonderful depends fully on how prepared and alert and inquisitive the citizens of Phoenix in this room and elsewhere truly become.
All right, well, that's quite a statement. Apparently you're not going to be more specific than that. Do you expect it to be something wonderful or something worrisome? If you were living in Phoenix, Richard, would you find a reason to be out of town during those days?
Art,
Yes.
a Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times. The citizens of Phoenix are living in very interesting times and a place.
Indeed they are. All right, Richard, we are going to break here at the top of the hour and turn back to you. We'll probably be back at about 7 minutes past the hour. And we will continue then with Ken Johnson and Dan Davis. I'm Martel from the High Deserts, joined once again at the top of the hour by Richard Oakland and the multitudes at the Civic Plaza Ballroom in Phoenix, Arizona. Stay right where you are. There's more to come. And company. Are you there?
From the low deserts, opposed to those other places. Hi, Art.
Hello, Richard.
Okay, what we want to do now is to put in touch with Ken Johnson, because what Ken has done tonight for the folks here in the ballroom is to live out not only the prehistory of this ancient tradition to which they are a part and have not until recently realized it, but then we're going to segue with Van Davis into the actual formation of the city on that tradition, and we've had very important news in literally the sequel.
All right, Richard, may I interject and give you a little bit of news?
Absolutely.
I just received the facts, and I've been getting several of these over the last several days. Are you or is Mr. Hoagland aware of a huge UFO hovering over LaGrange, Georgia, right now? The craft has already been seen by well over 10,000 people. It is hovering over the town at an altitude of about 10,000 feet, so it's clearly visible to everyone. This may be the beginning of something big. From Thomas Trent in LaGrange, Georgia.
Well, what we need is video, and we need to get the key, and we need to get it up on the web so we can all look at it.
I agree completely, and the reason I read this is because I've had communications from the director of MUFON in that area indicating this is going on, Richard.
Well, it's interesting. I've seen the data, I would like to say, that sounds provocative. And it certainly fits the prescription of something is going to happen. The question is where?
The question is where, and something, in other words, Richard, and for the people of the city of Phoenix and everybody there in the audience, you really are not certain whether this will be something wonderful or something somewhat less than wonderful. You're simply assuring everybody that something is indeed going to occur. Is that correct?
Well, look, on your program, when we did the program a few weeks ago, I made a very specific commitment to look at the evidence that was surrounding this particular forecast. The evidence is neutral. The evidence is very affirming. The whole concept of the Phoenix mythology is something new being born from the old. Now, what we have discovered is that the site of Phoenix here in southwest U.S. of Phoenix was predicated on the ancient Indian culture, who themselves apparently believed in and left photos to this identical Phoenix resurrection, rebirth, a glorious new day morning legend. That obviously is telling us something profound. Now, human beings are very contrary. There is almost a karmic law, something really neat and wondrous and insightful is about to happen. There's a few folks that want to spoil the party. What I don't want to do is to magnify the negative and the dark side of the force here in the face of something which transcends all of that. And if we approach it in the proper light, I think is significant in the largest degree based on the very cluster pattern we analyze.
All right, but I want to pin you down. It's not easy to do, Richard. The symbol of the phoenix rising from the ashes obviously implies that before the rising there will be ashes. I've been trying to understand the chain of logic here, and
Well, the problem is that we're dealing at the level of metaphor and symbology to sound a little bit like Zacharias Sitchin, who I love dearly, but Zach would know a metaphor and tripped over the club. The whole thesis is that there is a long time span for these events. If we are correct, our entire civilization from the Egyptians on has been part of a rebirth from the ashes of what came before. Now we've gone through various iterations of various dark ages. One would certainly not think, if one looked at certain parts of our political system, that it could use some rebirthing and reborning. Now whether one views that in the literal sense or the metaphorical and allegorical sense is strictly up to you. The fact is that we live at the level of the symbol. And in fact, if we were to discover tomorrow, Art, that we are emphatically not alone, if some other species were to make that known, and the fact that we are somehow connected with them and with events on a much larger stage, then metaphorically our entire myopic 6,000 years of civilization is thrown into the ash can. It's history, literally.
so, all right, the people of Phoenix need not fear some necessary physical event. It may be a metaphorical occurrence, or it may be something that is revealed to us all. That is, in essence, what you're saying.
What I'm saying is that there are rumors of war for every individual event.
Yes, and the audience, Richard, should know that you and I have been both dealing with, I really want to get this out on the table. The internet is rife with rumors of truth and truth movements. I can't tell you how many messages, and I don't read them on air because I think that it's the lead to some panic. And I don't even know if they're true. Nobody can know about these internet messages, but it means the internet is rife with these rumors, and I think that ought to be out on the table and at least known by everybody there.
Let me pose a scenario for you. Let's assume, you saw the movie Close Encounters, right?
I certainly did. I had one myself.
Well, in Close Encounters, where those who have been hiding in the Antarctic, over the last 30 years, there is an event that comes to pass. A set of signal tone arsons, which are ultimately cracked by a code film, who then goes and literally opens a locked office where wolves roll out into the project floor. And they use tone code to pinpoint a latitude and longitude film, right?
Correct.
That latitude longitude is in Douglas Howard, Wyoming. And a landing with a bit of great magnitude, first contact, by the way, the film just out this week, so my recall friend called Sagan, is the name of the show. That's where the government, the powers to be, are informed through total communication. Contact will occur.
You might be interested to know that this evening, this very night, Richard, the President of the United States has had his attorneys contact the producers or the producer of that film, objecting to the use of his image and his name to be connected with it at all.
Yeah, I know, Mr. Zemeckis said something on CNN to the effect that you can't trust any images that you see anymore. Not sure if you heard that before. Anyway, that notwithstanding, the interesting, study that I'm going to review right now, what I'm supposed to count is a closed for development. If you look at the film, I would have brought my copy with play here, but as you know, I got moved. I could not find my copy and I couldn't get the blockbuster. But if you look at the film, and you look at the map, and you look at the latitude and longitude of Del Tower, you will find they are carried by over 300 miles. The actual latitude given in the film is the latitude of Sidonia from Viking on Mars. And the reason is because Dr. Taylor was good friends with Steven Spielberg and Steven and all great partners. It as an anagram in the film, a forecasting of something possibly to come. Now, if there are rumors of military activity with Phoenix Airways, if there is sightings of vehicles and microscopes and armed personnel, one of the benign interpretations I would have is that someone has been shooting for the Phoenix flight, for the electric switch of the drone a couple days ago, RE2 Reed, which pretty manipulative.
Yes.
And there is some anticipation by the powers that be that something is going to happen. And the natural response of human beings, particularly in the last 6,000 years, to any inflection of the curve in fear and worry and terror. So the military, doing their job, must be prepared for the unknown. That does not mean negative unknown facts to occur. It merely means if they are on the inside and they know a little bit more than we on the outside, who are projecting a separate set of curves that are rising rapidly
I really think that what you're suggesting is entirely possible, and that they are in preparation for some event that they foresee as we have foreseen. Richard, I would be curious, I don't have a map in front of me, but the latitude of Georgia as a state is generally fairly consistent to that of Phoenix or Arizona, is it not?
Well, if you give me a town, I've got registers here. I can actually go in, if you give me a town, I'll see plenty of reasonably large locations.
Well, it's north of Atlanta, and you're being heard from Atlanta right now, but Green, Georgia is some miles north of Atlanta, Richard, not very far.
Okay. So it may take a couple of minutes here to get this broker to work properly, but
I think I'm beginning to think like Richard Copeland.
okay. If I can have the computer on here, fellas. Right down the city. We'll start out with Atlanta. We have 142 kilometers to the centimeters. We'll look at the site. And we're down this. It's south.
No, just north of Atlanta, Richard.
Okay. I'm hearing from voices here to the south of Atlanta.
Well, okay, north or south, I'm sorry, I also do not have a map. I know that it is within miles of Atlanta.
All right. I will put it right there. It's 3324, and if you put it downtown Atlanta, it's 3354, split the difference is 3333, same latitude.
Yes.
That is called real-time science. What is it going?
And that is occurring right now. So, Richard, I'm going to endeavor by fax to have somebody in the breeze before we get off the air. Please send me a fax at area code 702-727-8499, and I will try and get them on the air for both audiences, your live audience and my national audience. At any rate, Richard, please proceed.
Well, what I'd like to do is to continue visitors' notwithstanding, who may have something to tell us in some way. One of our panelists wants to know if you think they're coming our way.
Richard, being in the studio I am, or you see me right now, I would endeavor to answer that question.
Very good. All right, let me put on Ken Johnson, because there is, from the terrestrial side, this extraordinarily ancient subjective pattern, which I think is pretty important to telling what might happen next.
All right.
Without further ado, Ken?
Good evening, Art. Can you hear me?
Good evening, Ken. I hear you just fine.
Basically, what I ran down this evening was tracing the history of modern masonry all the way back. I outlined for the people here that there were about 14 presidents that were masons. I also went in and showed the other masons that were involved in the forming the Constitution of the United States. The fact that we can set the United States, America was the grand sonic plan to put freedom in the hands of the people, to have government of the people, by the people, for the people. From there, I switched masonry on back to England and through some of the researchers, many of the great researchers in masonry, all the way back to Scotland, from Scotland to the Knights Templars, and also picked up a lot about the Rosslyn Chapel in Scotland, where a lot of the data has been buried, and we're in the process of trying to dig up again. From there, we pushed masonry back to Israel, Templars, and then from there to the Heritage Temple and there, and then tying into the religious side of Israel to Moses back to Egypt. And then third, we're going to show that masonry actually stems back to the fathers of forest. That this knowledge has been kept in allegory, symbol, and sign that 99% of the world's masons have no idea of the history, although we have found proof that they've kept that. So from there, we were then looking at the fact of why, as an organization that claims its history back to 1717 calendars, such as the 14th of July, 1997. In reality, in all the Masonic lodges, it was actually 14th of July, AL 5997, 5,997 years since the Great Light, which was the cataclysm that took place. So we have a great history coming to you. Now, it's been brought back up a lot of times by Van Taylor.
All right. Thank you very much, Ken. And hi, Van.
Good evening, Art.
Good evening.
And welcome to Phoenix, although through the internet. I'm glad to see we're finally using it for what it needs to be used for.
This is absolutely a remarkable technology, and we could do a program on just this alone. It's amazing.
Well, what I did, starting a very limited research for Richard when I met him, I didn't know the problem I'd get into, came up and tracked back the history of the word Phoenix back to Egypt. And going through this, all the way through and reading. By the way, an interesting little thing I didn't share with the audience here is the word Phoenix was also used in Greek to what they called palm trees. They called them phoenixes. And of course, Arizona and Las Vegas, we see palm trees. From there, we went through the Spanish, with Columbus and discovering of America. Looking back part, from my experience in the NSA, there's one thing they taught me when I first went in there as a naive 18-year-old that didn't know anything. That what we were taught in school of history is not history, that they made up history for the general public. Because of religious and sacrificial reasons. From there, we learned that Columbus was given a map of this land. By Isabella, and already had a pre-map, know what he knew where he was going on. They had on there the 7 cities, which later we learned the Spanish were looking for one thing here, the 7 cities of Tola. What are 7 cities of Tola? People know that. The interesting thing is, the last command given by the kings and queens was, by the way, while you're over there tracking the stories of the 7 cities, please take the land in our name. That was the last order given. Forget everything else, So from there, we tracked it to where Montezuma ran into the southwest after front seat towards chasing him. They killed him, of course. Coronado, Juanadeo Nate, to the area, he discovered the Grand Canyon in about 1540. And
he called the Pastor Tornado that they were sick. So he was there with a half until 1883. In 1871 and 1883, it was never included on any map of Mexico, United States, or anywhere else. It was left out. All right, about a minute there. Yes. So we went from there. And what we found in doing the research, real fast, I don't know if I'll real fast like we do it anyway. In doing the research, I found the ancient city of Bogota, which is really one of the seven cities of the world. It has 100,000 people. What was interesting, when you hold it up to the light, this will be for the very members. When you hold it up and you put it in alignment with the river Nile, and the Gulf River here, they flow the same direction apart. And you find that these Columbia, which have basically all been destroyed by modern civilization, have certain interesting components, and that they fit in other areas that we're still researching them. Very healthy with science and figures. All right, fans, I'm going to have to hold it there. We'll be right back from the high desert. This is CBC. Going now back to Phoenix in this Civic Plaza Ballroom where there are thousands listening to Richard Hoagland and Company. Vance Davis, I'm afraid I have to interrupt Vance in the middle of something. I have one very quick piece of input. Vance, are you there?
Yeah, I'm the park.
All right, hold on, everybody, for just one moment. I have a caller from Georgia who is not seeing the objects claimed to be in the sky right now. Caller, are you there? Where are you, please? Okay, and you have some information for everybody. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, after reconstruction and the city land first burned down, you asking?
Yes.
Let's talk about the way it's looking.
The symbol of the city of Atlanta
That's good.
is what?
I have a note here. Hand me that note. There's a note art from one of our listeners, a Jim, I'm sorry, it's from Jim Hertak. You know Jim.
I do indeed, yes.
Can you explain the key to meaning?
Yes.
Identified Atlanta and the Phoenix as the eyes of the dove. It gives the vision to ushering in new age. Now the fact that we're looking at very similar latitudes within minutes apart, so we're able to get confirmation that there is something interesting going on over Georgia, includes another part of this pattern. And I must tell you, Peter Davenport, who is an old friend of yours, is not reporting any calls from Georgia at this time regarding this topic.
All right, it may well not be, who knows. But there have been reports in the last several days. Absolutely no question about it, Richard. I talked to you on the record.
Okay?
Whether or not it's actually going on right now, we'll have to check it. But I just wanted to simply let you know that, and I'm sorry I had to interrupt Vance Davis on the middle of where it was going, and we need to be able to get to Larry here because we've got some fairly shocking information for everybody.
Okay, one of the things that I wanted to get to tonight was an overview of Christian news on personalities of SCSA.
Yes.
And we're going to be able to listen to now midnight because we have good news on Larry Hunter's project, Santa Cruz. And I have a very important memo to read to you from a member of the shore expedition regarding the secret tunnel.
All right, we better get to it. Go ahead.
What I would suggest, if you can, is that we maybe go from midnight to the bottom of the hour. Is that possible?
If possible, I have other guest schedules, Richard, so we better get to it.
Okay. Well, let me just be on the record here. Keith Scotty Rowland, our trustworthy engineer on the web,
Yes.
reports that all the web servers maxed out to 10 p.m. Previous hour is only one half of what we're doing right now. And that, of course, doesn't quite count that later, but I think we're a full second. And then I'm going to turn it now back to Vance to complete this very important part of the model pattern he discovered as part of the historical data retrieval research on today's briefing.
Hello, okay, go right ahead.
We're going to tie this together really quickly for you. The themes of the locom here, people were known as people that love, 1400 days AD, as did the Anunnaki and other tribes, the Ellis, St. Francis, and Sophia. So, reasons and theories. What has happened when you lay the city, again, and I made a boo-boo earlier, I apologize to the audience here visiting us. The Salt River here runs to the southwest. The Gila River runs north. Now, what's interesting, when you put the map with the Gila plateau map, you find that the rivers, whether they flow that way or not, symbolizes the Milky Way, from my view, and certain pueblos that were built under the Holocaust matches those of the cities and the temples in that area. Now, what I'm bringing in, and what we're going to introduce here, is Larry Hunter, who's worked as a navigator for 28 years, 18 years in Egypt, as you know. He was on your show for a period, if I remember right, a couple weeks ago, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay? And we showed him these pictures when he finally showed up in Phoenix, and he has something, and we're going to do science with this, live on the internet, with Larry Hunter, and with you, Art, over the airwaves.
All right.
Okay? And the history of Egypt. By the way, the Holocaust symbol for the city given to us tonight was a phoenix.